Aliso Fund Committee. That's comprised of one member from the LA City Attorney's Office, one member from LA County Counsel's Office, and one member from the Attorney General's Office. Those members currently are Jessica Brown, Scott Kuhn, and myself. And CARB, the California Air Resources Board, plays an advisory role under the settlement. Specifically under the air monitoring step, South Coast states that South Coast AQMD, CARB, and OEHA are the agencies that may implement the step. And so currently all three of those agencies are working with the Aliso Fund Committee in an advisory capacity. One of the things we wanted to make sure we relayed to everybody today is that the money set aside for this particular step have not been allocated to a specific agency for implementation yet. We're holding this meeting to describe the different options for implementation to the community, get some feedback, and then we'll move forward and select the agency or agencies that will be implementing the step.
Catherine, I'm just going to pause really quickly. Sorry, we are now recording the meeting for folks who have asked that question. Go ahead.
Great, thank you. So just a brief overview of the step itself. The settlement allocates a total of $3 million to the development and implementation of two separate air monitoring systems. So that's one system to be installed in Porter Ranch, and then a system to be installed in a yet-to-be-selected environmental justice community in LA County. And so for purposes of our discussion today and our internal discussions to date in planning for implementation of this step, we are assuming that there will be $1.5 million from the settlement money allocated to each of those monitoring systems. I know that's a question that a lot of people have had. And I do want to flag for you, and South Coast AQMD will provide more information about this later in the presentation, but that agency has decided to allocate some additional funds to this step. So the SEP agreement, that's part of the settlement, does outline a couple of fundamental aspects of the SEP. So at a minimum, the SEP will include a real-time air monitoring system, and I'm really focused on the Porter Ranch piece of it, so I'll make that clear. So implementation in Porter Ranch will include, at a minimum, a real-time air monitoring system, monitor at a minimum methane and toxic air contaminants, including VTEX compounds and or criteria air pollutants, include near real-time data availability on a publicly accessible website, and include online reporting of local environmental and public health concerns. So our goal today is to discuss with you the options that the Aliso Fund Committee, in consultation with South Coast AQMD, CARB, and OEHA, have identified for implementation and gather your feedback. A few notes before I turn it over to AQMD to talk in more detail about monitoring options. The Aliso Fund Committee and the supporting agencies will make the ultimate decision about implementation of this step, but we want to hear from the community about what's really important to you so that our decision can incorporate as much community feedback as possible. We do acknowledge and have heard from the community so far, and we'll probably touch on again later, that the community is very frustrated about the speed of implementation of this step. We greatly appreciate your patience. We've worked through quite a number of issues to get to the point where we are today, but we are looking forward to moving forward and implementing this as quickly as possible. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jason Lowe from